Okay, I want to introduce you to the Harley Benton L450 GT P90, and I'm going to take you a run from top to bottom of this lovely little guitar. And you can see it's got a Gibson-y style headstock, very simple little tuning pegs there. Now I'm getting close up on the iPhone here so you can see. Old-fashioned style plastic tuners, very nice touch there. So a little classic truss rod cover, rosewood neck with the trapezoid inlays, but we've also got, going down the side, quite a nice, I'm going to try and focus on this. Yay, no, okay. Try a nice thingy, I don't know what it's called, you know, thing down the side of the fretboard. Anyway, so standing back from it, you can see it's in a nice gold colour, and actually if you get really close, it's, I don't know if it will focus on this, but it's a metallic finish, which is really quite nice. I'm just going to try and zoom again. Here, you can just about see the metallic finish there. Really nice quality lacquer over the top of that. You have to excuse the zoom focuses. And when all said and done, a surprisingly good quality piece of kit straight out of the box. And you can see it's, I haven't cleaned it or anything for this video, so you can see it's shiny as anything, and looks very, very nice. It's done in a classic, I think, 1956 style with the P90 pickups. And what I'm going to show you right now on this guitar is pretty much the only blemish on the entire guitar for your massive sum of £100. And it's a little white edge in the finish just around the P90. The gap's not a problem, it's just that little white edge there. If you zoom in closer, it's like the paint was scratched or something before the clear lacquer was applied, but it's a minor detail, and it really, for £100, it really isn't something to worry about. So over here you've got your 4 gold looking knobs, your 2 volumes and your two tones. You've got a standard tailpiece, and you've got one of these tune-o-matic bridges. Obviously not the highest quality one in the world. For £100 you won't get that. And what you'll notice is on mine, I've turned it round. Yours will come with the screws, adjustment screws, facing the neck. And the reason I've turned mine round is, first of all, it doesn't really make any difference. Don't believe what you read online. But the reason I've done that is because if you look down here at this level, you can see that there isn't going to be enough room over the top of that pickup to get a screwdriver in if the adjusting heads were on the other side there. So you'd be really struggling, as I tried, and it didn't work. So I've put them on the other side, which gives me plenty of room to have a go at adjusting them, and you'll need to do that to set the intonation on this guitar. What you've got here is a very cheap plastic scratch guard. You know, it's I guess I don't know what the real one's made of, but it's very plasticky and very cheap, and I wouldn't mind the guitar being completely without it, between you and me. You've got a very positive switch, knows where it is. You've got some nice strap buttons there. See close up. Nice quality strap buttons. You've got overall a beautiful heavy guitar, and my first weekend of playing it has actually resulted in me getting shoulder ache, believe it or not. I've played it so much. And you've got a very straight and easy to play neck. Now on this, once I've lowered the action a bit, there are a couple of frets that aren't perfectly level with the others, but it's not so much as a problem that it would stop you getting great value out of this guitar. So just giving it a quick turn, good old-fashioned style tuning heads up the top there, very direct, very low ratio, I suppose. I don't know what the correct term is. I don't know if you can see it here then. There's a part of this guitar that's really new to me, and that is the way that the headstock is constructed. And it's made of a slanting piece, and if you can see the slant is going vertically there, you can just see the difference in the colour of woods. And so the darker colour to the left is the original piece that the neck's made out of, and the lighter colour to the right is the reversed wedge that's cut off and glued together. And you can see the edge of that join, I don't know if you can see it, it's right at the bottom there, and you can see where the grain stops. But it's a really neat way of doing it. I think it looks fine. And you can see it's very luscious all round, nice headstock done in pearl, mother of pearl sort of feel. Just spinning the guitar around, as I say, you can really see the quality of the finish. There's nothing to complain about in this. It's a really nice heavy guitar. It's made of basswood and in 3 pieces of wood, and I can't really focus on this and shoot at the same time, but you can see that there's a darker strip down the left side there. There's a central piece and another piece just off to the side of the neck there. You can see the 3 pieces quite clearly. You can see where they come through the body at the side. If I look in there, you can see a very distinct join, but you know, it's not a problem. So spinning this guitar, as I say, losing focus. Let's see if I can just get a focus at this range. So spinning this guitar and looking at the reflection, it's a lovely finished piece of quality kit, and you will not be sorry to own this thing. It's really nice looking guitar, but the best part about it is not only is it nice looking, it's fantastic to play. And so the thing you're going to need to do, and the thing that is going to be wrong when the guitar arrives, is first of all, the action's going to be wrong. The action on this guitar was way too high. It was somewhere up there. So the first thing I did was took the action down at the bridge, but knowing I was going to use these little adjusters here to set the intonation, I turned the bridge around so the adjusters were at the back, as I've previously mentioned. And zoom in a bit. So what you're going to need to do is definitely lower the action on your guitar. It's not been set up particularly well or at all from the factory. It did come in tune, which was quite an interesting thing, very nice little touch, but you need to set the bridge up in a way that gets the action you want, and if necessary, switch it around. There's no problem in switching it around. It doesn't cause any negative problems at all, but set it the way you want. And then what you're going to need to do is to use a chromatic tuner or an oscilloscopy type tuner you can get for your iPhone, an app for your iPhone, it's easy enough. And you're going to need to set the intonation of each string, and what that literally means is you are going to set the exact length for each string that suits the neck and the position of the neck and the body. So the neck is made with the mathematical progression of a sequence of narrowing frets, and that is made to suit an exact scale length, meaning the distance between the nut, the pivot point here, or the fulcrum where the string goes over the nut, distance from that right the way down to the bridge. And the guitar neck is made for a specific scale length. Now the problem is, by the time it's been fitted and when you put it into the finished guitar, you won't have exactly that scale neck. Some bit of glue or something, or a bit of expansion will change it. So this is why you have adjustments for intonation, and your job will be to use the tuner to set the length to the exact length. And the way you do that is you ping a harmonic at the 12th fret, and that note, if you've got the string length correct, that note, the pinged harmonic note at the 12th fret, should be the same as the note fretted at the 12th. And if it's low or high, then you get to adjust these further. If it's high, you come backwards with the bridge or the adjustable saddle, and if it's too low, you move the saddle forward. And you do it until the fretted 12th note is the same as the harmonic note, and a chromatic tuner or a tuning app will help you do this. They'll all be slightly different, as you can see here by the time you've finished. You can see there's a link between the front, the top notes are sort of set to the back, and the bottom notes there are a bit further forward. But once you've set the intonation on this thing and you've got the action relatively low, I think I'll see if I can get you a look at how high this action is. It's still probably a tad higher than I would ideally want at the 12th fret, tiny bit higher than I'd want. However, The reason that is the case is because there's a couple of frets here, as I said, that are a tiny bit too high, and with the action as it's set, any lower than that and the notes get choked off because the fret following them is too high. So I've got it set just low enough that it doesn't do that. Still maybe a little bit of finishing work I might have to do on 1 or 2 frets, but apart from that, by just setting the action and by taking some time and reading so you know what you're doing and setting the intonation, this £100 guitar has become overnight my favourite guitar in the collection. And I'll just take you a quick walk around to show you that I have plenty, or a few to choose from anyway. We have the homemade kit guitar, which I made just recently. Again, that needs work on the intonation. We have the old faithful Squier Stratocaster Japanese version from 1983, which is very well set up and intonated just by hard work over the years. I have a small baby Martin, not a Martin, it's a Taylor baby travel guitar with a slightly bent neck, which I need to do something about. And if we look, an unbearably high action, which makes it a beast to play. And then over here, and hanging from another one, we've got a basic sort of Fender, £175 Fender acoustic, which I've lowered the bridge on, but the intonation just happens to be pretty good. But those things all being equal, this little fella over here for £100 has just become my play it all day guitar. I absolutely love it, and with the intonation set right, this guitar has a precision and a quality about it which is just gorgeous. You could gig with this guitar, and I would really enjoy doing that. I'm not going to plug it in right now because my partner's asleep, but the tone on this guitar, the nice thing to say about these replica P90 pickups is they really do work, and that for the first time in a 3-position guitar, I can really tell the difference when playing between the rhythm pickup, the middle mix, and the treble pickup. And there's a real snarl when you put it into the middle or the rhythm position. It's a really warm, raunchy sort of tone, and it's nicer than any of the other guitars I've got, and it's certainly far nicer than these things which I put into this guitar. And they're a pair of Epiphone humbuckers, but they really sound muddy and unclear. And they're also, the P90s are in their own way a lot nicer than these bog standard Squier Japanese Stratocaster or Fender American parts, but put together in Japan. So I hope that's useful to you. You've probably guessed by now that this is an absolute recommendation for this guitar, unreserved recommendation. It's fantastic, and it is worth 5 times the £100 you'll pay for it. So do not hesitate, buy this. And I have to say, judged on this, I would go and look at a Harley Benton as a next guitar if I was interested in some other shape or style.